Look at Trey.
Hey, Mr. Rasby, how you doing?
How you doing, Trey?
Are you ready to get started?
Yeah, was this the number that you want me to call you on, or did you want me to call you on the other number?
Oh, I was gonna call you from my house phone, so I record on my cell
Okay.
phone.
Okay, cool. No problem. No problem. Yeah, I'm ready when you're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
Can you hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
First off, I just want to thank you for letting me do this and giving me your time today.
Cool. No problem, man. No problem.
And to get started, I want you to introduce yourself, give your background story, where you went to school, college, and high school, your path to the draft, and your path to making NFL team.
Okay, that's a lot. So you're gonna have to jump back in and remind me if I leave something out. So my name is Walter Rasby. I was born in New York, and raised primarily in Washington, North Carolina, small town in the eastern part of the state. Graduated high school in 1990 from Washington High. Went to attend Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where I went for 4 years, graduated in May of 1994 with a degree in communications. After graduating from college, I actually was invited to camp with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was not drafted. I was a free agent. So, I went to the combine and so forth, but I was not drafted. I was a free agent rookie. So, which is an interesting journey in and of itself. It gave me the ability to kind of put myself in the best position where I actually had the opportunity to make the team. I actually chose the Steelers because of relationships that my agent had, and also they were traditionally a tight end heavy team, meaning they sometimes they kept 4 tight ends on their roster, whereas most teams keep 3 tight ends on their roster. So, long story short, I went to camp with the Steelers and wound up making the team as the 4th tight end. That actually played out in my favor. And from there, I spent 1 year with them in '94, made it to the AFC Championship game, was unsuccessful in the victory, so 1 game away from the Super Bowl. And then from there, I actually played my next 3 years in Carolina, 95, 96, 97. Had a good run there. Made it to the championship game again in '96 with the Carolina Panthers. After that, my next 3 years was spent with the Detroit Lions. And then my next 2 years was spent with the Washington Redskins. And then I spent 1 year with New Orleans Saints. And then my last year, I split between Washington and Pittsburgh. So the last team I actually played for during the regular season was Pittsburgh Steelers. That ironically was the first team I played for. So I kind of went full circle in my career.
Thank you. The base of my paper is about how professional athletes go broke. So I'm going to ask you a few questions about your experiences in the NFL with money. Did you have any financial experience prior to the NFL, like writing checks, saving, or paying bills or taxes?
Could you repeat the one more question? Question one more time?
Did you have any financial experience prior to the NFL?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had some basic financial experience before I was in the NFL, writing checks and, balancing the checkbook somewhat in college. And, responsibility of paying some bills in my apartment and so forth like that.
When you got to the league, did the Players Association help you at all?
Not a whole lot. Not back in those days. They had, a player program guy or a player director guy, every team, but it wasn't like a big concerted program or effort like it is today.
And I want to ask you about your experience when you first gained your big amount of money, or signed your first contract, or your signing bonus.
Well, I guess everything is relative, my man. Because in '94, my signing bonus was $5,000. Because I was a free agent, there wasn't a lucrative signing bonus from a high draft status, so forth like that. But even then, my rookie year, the minimum wage contract was $115,000, and I think the minimum wage now is, I don't know, 4 something. I think 5 something. I don't know what it is now. But that was a minimum wage contract. So when you're a free agent, that's what you get, my friend. So it was still good. It was still a blessing. I was making more than the average person on the outside, so to speak. So I was thinking.
Okay, thank you. Did your spending habits change from college to the NFL?
Oh yeah, I mean, spending habit is definitely going to change, just based on the environmental things that you're exposed to that the average college student is not exposed to. I can't speak for every guy in college. I can only speak from my own personal experience and guys around me. Once you get to the NFL, another door opens to the other back rooms, that lead down the hallway that you weren't given access to in college. So, yeah, your spending habits change. You are around other guys that have a lot of money, so they expose you to things. And sometimes guys try to keep up with the Joneses. Sometimes guys keep a level head, and sometimes guys find themselves somewhere in between. But I think every player is going to splurge on something to say, this is my gift to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a funny story. My kind of gift to myself was a gold Gucci watch. I paid $500 for it, and I still have that watch in the original box that it came in to this day.
Yeah. Did you use a financial advisor during your career? And if you did, was he helpful?
Yeah, I used a financial advisor, and he was helpful. I had an agent as well. I wasn't one of those guys that down on my agent around my life. So, my agent advised me on things and showed me different ways and exposed me to different people. But he didn't run my life, so to speak, which I think that was a good thing in the long run.
Yeah. Did you have any struggles with relationships when you started making it to the NFL with your friends or family?
Yeah, money changes everybody around you, man, or the perception of money. So, I mean, everybody thinks you're a millionaire. So, everybody always has their hand out in some form or fashion, whether they know it or not. Whether it's, help with the good cause or help with some, just, making it rain calls.
Yeah.
But everybody at some point they go through that sense of entitlement where, you make all this money, so you should pick the bill up.
Yeah. Did you know anybody that did struggle with money in the league? Do you have any teammates did you know about
That did what?
that struggled with their money?
Are you talking about while we were actually playing in the league?
Yes, sir.
No, not a whole lot. Guys didn't really share that type of thing with you. And I mean, the struggles would happen on the off season anyway. So, if there was a struggle, a lot of times you weren't privy to it because during the season, everybody's getting a check every week. You get paid paid. A lot of people might not know this, but you actually get paid during the season, and that's it. So you get 17 checks, or 16 checks, or 8 checks, depending on how your salary is, or your pay days are split up. But I mean, and if you got a $10 million contract and you make $10 million, it's split up into 17 checks, or however many checks. So once the season's over with, then there's no more checks. Now, it's not as you request to have your salary broken up that way, but the default or standard way is everybody gets paid during the season. That's it.
Okay. Knowing what you know now, would you do anything different? Would you change anything at all?
Yeah, you would always say, I wish I had a couple things that I didn't try to invest in, or I wish I didn't loan this out, or try to get into this business, or this and that. But life is a great teacher. Experience is probably the best teacher that there is. So there's always a opportunity in every challenge, or every quote unquote hard time that comes your way, or mistake that comes your way, as long as you're able to reflect on it. So to answer your question, probably wouldn't change a whole lot about what I did with money or what I didn't do with money. But I mean, there was always a couple of things you wish you hadn't done.
Thank you. In my paper, I wrote a thesis statement, and I want you either to confirm it, deny it, or add anything that I missed. I said the reasons why some professional athletes go broke are because a combination of a lack of control with high-paid contracts, financial illiteracy, unethical financial advisors, and struggles with relationships.
I would say that's probably true, but it's deeper than that. It's like that's like saying the reason why black folks in America have certain challenges with certain things is because we haven't gotten a fair shake in the civil rights.
Yeah.
Or something like that. That's like the topical thing. But you got to go all the way back to when we first started getting off the boat, and a whole systemic or systematic thing was put in place. So I say that is you have to look at the culture that is surrounding athletics in general. Not just professional athletics. You have to look at the culture that is groomed from junior high, sometimes even early in that, in today's society, where the athlete is placed on a pedestal and made to feel like he's invincible. And therefore, a lot of our decisions that are made regarding finances are born out of that sense of invincibility, coupled with the majority of the athletes, come from a economically deprived situation where their parents didn't have the financial literacy or the financial understanding to implement or plant those seeds into the athletes as they were growing up. So a lot of times it's, first time around the block for us when we quote unquote get, a paycheck that's, 6 figures, 7 figures, nobody in our family doesn't receive anything like that. So yeah, it's a lack of financial advisors, a lack of, financial literacy, but it's more than that. It's a lack of financial and economic know-how that is within our communities. Because I don't there's some white guys that are broke too.
Yeah.
But, the African American is the one that's held up because, we're the ones that always putting on the show, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that show is bad and good. You know what I'm saying? We're normally the best players on the field, most flamboyant, most the ones that, cause the controversy in the media.
Yeah.
We're the ones that quote unquote beating our wives and nobody else beats their wives except for us, or does all these things. So we're the ones that are always held up. But I will say that a lot of our problems stem from just our lack of financial and economic know-how in our community and our families as well.
So, in your words, you would basically add it's more like a culture that people grow up in that have these problems.
Yeah, I mean, any young person that comes from a average to mediocre income household, and all of a sudden you're thrust into an environment where money seems not to be an object.